What's a privilege that most people don't realize is a privilege? Feeling safe in your own home. Not worrying about rats, mice, roaches, bed bugs, bricks being thrown through windows, violence outside, break-ins. When I was younger I had multiple break-ins. We knew who it was as a kid, even to the point of moving into my aunt's house, and it took months to get a new home. We struggled so bad financially. I still have paranoia of someone breaking in or watching us. I have to check doors and windows all the time. My dad keeps throwing away my stuff or shifting my stuff despite being told multiple times with reason why. Without even asking or telling me. I'm already 30, adult living at home, Asian in Asia. I have zero sense of material security in my own room. Being able to pursue your dreams because you have enough support systems to thrive regardless of outcome. So true. Had to quit my dream to help out my family. Don't regret it, but it would have been nice. Having an emotionally mature parent. Wow. This is a good one. I wish I had this growing up. My father is in his 60s and still likes to act like a stupid teenager. I've had to grab the steering wheel to correct it while he was driving drunk, and all he did was giggle while I shouted at him that he drove over the curb. He drove right to another bar to drink more. Beeping dumbass. Being healthy instead of disabled and chronically ill. Ugh, yes. Although for me it's debilitating chronic pain. I've had it for 10 years. And at this point I can't believe I used to live without it. That just seems like such an unattainable luxury now. I had no idea how fortunate I was. I would give anything to just feel normal again. Having a family that loves you. I grew up in a pretty loving family. It was somewhat dysfunctional, to be sure. But my mother loves me, as does my sister. So did my grandparents. We were always a close family and we helped each other when possible. We were always supportive too. I went to school with people whose parents couldn't have given a beep less about them. I mean straight up. Just didn't give a beep if their kids lived or died. If your parents actively tried to keep you off drugs and off the streets and were emotionally supportive and not abusive, count your blessings. It's a beeped up world we live in, and plenty of people are trying to navigate it completely alone. Hey. Thanks for understanding. As someone who came from a beeped up family and has plenty of issues resulting from it, I couldn't believe that there are people who actually love their families and vice versa, and the majority of these people are utterly incapable of understanding that beeped parents and families exist. I tried telling people that I don't talk to my parents because they were abusive, and they would say, "But surely they love you. Why don't you talk to them?" Some people can't fathom that because they've not lived it. I've had a beeped mom and had the same thing said to me, but I always answer with, I'm not sure if she loved me or hated my dad more. I straddle the fence with that question even till this day, and she's been gone since I was 17. So I don't know. Sleeping through the night. Didn't think of this one at first, but knowing how difficult life is when you don't get enough sleep, I couldn't agree more. I actually knew a guy that got fatal insomnia in high school. I couldn't imagine having it. It's really hard on the body and the mind to be wired like that. Hope that dude is in a better state now. I'm fortunate that I'm not stressed out at night these days. But when there were academic or intellectual, sometimes emotional stresses, I'd have the most lucid dreams/nightmares. And it felt too real to want to go back there to sleep. I'm vibing. For now. 24-7-365 of the following. 1. Clean. Drinking water. 2. Heated water. 3. Heated/cooled indoors. 4. Electricity. 5. Food. Clean drinking water was my answer too. More people have died from unsafe water and poor sanitation in the past 100 years than of any other cause. Unsanitary water is the most preventable of the major causes of death in the world. Having a bed. When I was ages 8 to 11, my siblings and I had to sleep on the floor because we lived in a tiny one-bedroom apartment. The only bed belonged to my grandfather, a 70-year-old man. And the couch went to my mother, a woman with severe back problems. The rest of us had to sleep on blankets and pillows. I remember turning 12 and finally getting to sleep in my own bed after 3 years of not having one. It was euphoria. My sons are extremely tall for their age, and we recently had to buy them extra long twin bed frames and mattresses. Their old mattress were literally 2 years old and in near perfect condition. I asked around and wound up giving them frames, mattress, foundations to a single mother with 2 young kids. I was just happy to get the mattresses out of my basement. Age offered me $50 for them, but I refused because she obviously didn't have the money to spare, and she was saving me a few bucks because if I took them to the local dump it would have cost me $10 each to get rid of them. She started crying and said her kids had never slept in a real bed. Thank you for doing that. I was the child of a single mom growing up. People like you helped give me comfort and faith in the universe. Their health. If they are healthy. Yup. That is my one genie wish. Chronic illness sucks. Being able to go to a store without worrying if your wheelchair can fit through the aisles of if they have front steps. This. I was in a wheelchair for a while and it is so damn hard. Living without constant physical pain. The idea that most people just exist without non-specific pain is baffling to me. It sucks. You get used to the pain. As much as one can. You begin to normalize around it. When you feel good, it's relative to how you normally feel. I feel good means it's only a little excruciating. What can really get me down, however, is knowing I'll never really know true comfort again. I can get relatively comfortable, but it's only relative. I don't remember what true comfort felt like. I wasn't born with a chronic pain condition, so I've lived a normal existence before. But I've had this condition so long that I can't remember what it was like before. Growing up with 2 stable parents in the home. Even one stable parent. Heck. Even a parent would be good. Knowing that food is available basically at all times in first world countries. I lived on an impoverished third world island/country for about 2 years. The lack of food availability is astonishing. The only things you can always count on being at the grocery store is rum, chicken wings, rice and soybean oil. Red meat is expensive and short supply. How many cows can an island support? Everything else is in short supply and must be imported. You can go weeks at a time without getting simple stuff like frozen broccoli or canned beans. The concept of returns or regulations don't exist either. They totally sell expired milk and dairy products. If you aren't observant enough to check, that is your bad. There is no FDA, so the quality of meat is low. The only way to get a good chicken is to buy and carve it yourself. Buying individual cuts at the grocery store is a no-no. They pump all kinds of solution into the breasts and thighs to make them weigh more. Hydrolyzed proteins, sugar and a whole bunch of other stuff they don't legally have to disclose. It has a horrid aftertaste. I had to befriend a farmer who would sell my chickens by the bird, and I would then carve them up myself and feed the carcasses to the street dogs. Trash pickup is also a first world luxury. The government drops off a dumpsters in random places 1 day a week. It's your job to get your trash to one on the correct day. This means you often have to freeze your trash or feed it to street dogs, because it will rot in your trash. Roaches will smell it and come up your drains. In the US we have the luxury of drain nets at the bottom of our pipes so sewer roaches don't crawl up them. Not the case in other countries. The most annoying is mail. Mail delivery is a first world luxury. The island I lived on, the streets don't have names and buildings don't have numbers. You had to drive to the only post office in the capital, and not only was shipping expensive, you have to bribe the post office workers to give you your mail or they will claim it isn't there. Electronic payment doesn't really exist. Everything is cash-based. ATM is broken 50% of the time, so when it works you have to pull out all 3 cash you can. Very few businesses have credit card machines and often half the time they aren't working. Paying bills was the most awful. No electronic payment. You go to the electric company and wait in one line to get your bill, and then you wait in a second line to pay your bill with cash. You better have small bills. If you only have big bills, there is a chance they will lie and say they don't have change and they can pocket it all. If you have 400 East Caribbean but the electric bill is 350, you just have to absorb the 50 loss or get out of line. Get change. And then wait in line again to pay. Awful life. I was a soldier who fought in Afghanistan. We had a better diet there than the people on that island. The US government did a decent job providing beef and fish for us in a landlocked country. We got our mail regularly and fairly fast too. Sorry for my extended rant. I hated that island. Made me so thankful I was American. May I ask why you lived there?